Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Congratulations to the 47th President, Dr. Cornel West podcast. Yes, that is the absolute title because that is absolutely what I believe. So, you know how this show works, everybody. Remember, no advertisements for my own podcast. No links to my donation links, none of that. This is all about getting Dr. Cornel West to the White House in November because we need someone with some level of morality, leadership, and all those other good things. So I am going to let my guest introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Samuel, and I'm honored to be welcomed to this space with Tracy, and hope that we can have a nice discussion about why this movement is so important and why it's important to not be discouraged in this time. As always, just keep our heads up and keep on striving.
So this is how the podcast works. I give you 5 of the most ridiculous criticisms that I have ever heard about Dr. West. You answer them, I come back with something else, we have a discussion. Pretty much works that way. But before I get to those questions, I always want to ask, why is it that you support Dr. West?
Okay, that's a good question to start out with. So, I'm a young man over here, and I don't have a lot of experience in life that a lot of other people have. But at this point, I can gather from the resources that have been presented to me, the individuals, activists that I have read their literature, listened to their speeches, and it is very easy for me to relate to what Dr. West is talking about, and some of those topics involve addressing the sorry the overall male supremacist kind of ideology that kind of takes away from the what I like to think of as the universal unifying principle of existence in the human world and other forms of life is that we all come from a mother. And so if we realize that we all come from a mother, then we can feel that we're all deeply connected and that we are, children of the Creator, or some people would say children of God. And so he comes to everyone in his speeches and gatherings, in the classroom as well, with that sense of that everyone is a child of God, and that's a very basic entry level to why I respect him as a person. But as a potential leader for the United States, I think it's important that he, straight out of the gate, says where he's going to spend his time and his focus. First and foremost, that is the melanated brothers and sisters, or as he describes, the chocolate side of the United States. And he wants to start there, and I think that that is something that is extremely important because the hounds, as Howard Thurman says, the hounds of hell, you have hypocrisy, you have fear, you have hatred, and all these things play together. And if there is so much hypocrisy and no consistency in the way that we have justice in the world, we need racial justice first and foremost in order to address the injustice and the lack of accountability that the government has. And so he wants to address this first and foremost. And that will create a space, I feel, and why I resonate deeply with him on a lot of his other major points, is that once you address this major point, then you can actually bridge the gap, the value gap that Eddie Claude Jr. talks about, one of his students in Democracy in Black. And it is just imperative to reimagine, as Eddie Claude Jr. says, reimagine our conception of what government is and what government can do. And these things aren't just, dreams. These are things that are actually living in people and moving in people. And I just see a lot of hope, the presence of hope in him, and when he speaks, and he always says this is just a moment in a movement, and I think that is powerful to address when speaking to people and running for such a kind of controversial place in our our structure of society. Like, the president holds this image and this idea of what a leader is, and we're all kind of have tendencies to be, I guess, how do I put it? We all have, like inner conflicting personalities at times, even though we can most likely are consistently comfortable in our skin and we express ourselves in one way, but we have different lives that we express. And so he comes forth and makes it less about himself and more about a movement. And I think that that's something that is very, very valuable to have as a leader of the United States, is that this is a group effort. This isn't just about me, Cornel West, in quotations, being the president of the United States because I am the loudest voice in the room or something. This is the beginning. This is a wave in the ocean of what will come to be. We just need to, be the hope, and so I just, that's my attempt to describe why I'm feeling the good vibes. I'm feeling the one nation that's under the groove, getting down just for the funk of it. Funkadelic.
Yeah, and I see we finally have some guests on. If you want to comment, remember I don't read comments. I read them, but I don't read them as they come in. I kind of save them for certain parts of the show. So if you're watching and you want to comment, please do. Let's get on to the lies, shall we? Because like I said, I've heard criticisms of Dr. West, and I'm going to say this and then I'll ask my questions. That the people say, oh, I have so much respect for Dr. West. And then they say the most disrespectful thing about Dr. West I think I've ever heard. Everything from this is a vanity project. He isn't up to debate, which I don't know what Cornel West they're talking about. Because clearly Cornel West can debate. Clearly. But the first debate, the first question I want to get to is this one. And I'm trying to adjust my space here, everybody, because it keeps going on and off. So I apologize. And, well, and my light has decided to go. There it is. Okay. First question or statement. A vote for Dr. Cornel West is a vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at that. So people may say vote for Dr. Cornel West is a vote for Donald Trump. That sounds like to me there's some fear there, and fear isn't always rooted in what really is occurring. And so it sounds to me like that would be some sort of reaction to putting so. It seems like to me that if I take a look at it, if I try to put myself in someone else's shoes, and I'm imagining myself feeling this way, the first thing that comes to my mind is that they need to imagine. They need to use their imagination and take into consideration that Donald Trump is, as Sun Ra would say, is one of the boys. You know, he's a boy. He's not a real man. And I'm not saying that to insult Donald Trump at all. I have much respect to holding on to loving your enemies, because I'm a strong believer in loving enemies. But if we take a look at what a nonviolent movement, the guiding morals and structure of a nonviolent movement to resist a figure like Donald Trump, is to seek to defeat the evil systems, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would say, and not to defeat the individual. And so I would think that someone who would fear something like that is thinking about, oh, it's about beating the individual, and what are the implications of if Donald Trump is elected, and oh, but they're putting too much importance on some individual who doesn't deserve the energy to focus that much time and fear and worry, giving that energy force any more just acknowledgement. There's just no point in wallowing in that sort of rut, because you're just going to spin your wheels all day long. And that's how I would approach it. I mean, simply, I don't know if that's adequate answer, but
It's different. It's a totally different way than I do. I'm just like, okay, so when people say that argument to me, it's like they're saying votes belong to Biden. Like, he didn't have to do anything to own them. He doesn't have to have no policies, have no agenda, no nothing. Just, you have to vote for this way because of this guy, or the lesser of two evils. And I'm like, but if you go lesser, you still have evil, right? Because if they're both evil and you take away this evil, well, that one is still left. I think people and the media has done a really good job of this. The media has done an excellent job of scaring people of Trump. Excellent job. And I was just talking about this at the rally I went today. I'm not scared of Trump. Yeah, I know. Trust me. I don't smoke anything. I'm not scared of him. I survived him the first time he's president. Since I know he's not going to win again, I'll survive whoever the president is. I'm going to be okay. And as far as, well, he'll destroy democracy, I keep saying, what democracy? Because we don't have any democracy. If we had a democracy, we wouldn't use the electoral college to elect our president. We would just, one person will vote, but that's just me. Yeah, that's the one I hear so much. And people, they make it like it's a fact. Like they've done studies on this and they've researched. And I'm like, no, it's an opinion not based in fact. There's no fact to that. If I want to vote for Donald Trump, I'm going to vote for. I don't. Let me make that real clear. I don't want to vote for Donald Trump. Period.
Right.
But if I'm going to think like that, then I'll just vote for him. I don't have to. I guess I'm just trying to say. I think people think votes are earned. No, votes are just. They just belong to people, and they don't. They're earned. You got to get out and earn votes. And I don't know if supporters of Biden know that. I just think they could just use these fear tactics to make people vote for him. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work.
Right. It's there's a lot of layers to it because I've been rolling this around because I've been trying to petition, and a lot of people will say that exact phrase, or they'll just kind of they'll just kind of, well, I've got to stick with Biden, and I hear them, and I just I think it has to do with, there has been like this for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever pattern in the United States and globally for certain groups to have this illusion that their lives matter more than others. And there's been just, there needs to be a deeper focus on what really matters, and we need to figure out what really matters to us as Americans collectively, and what we can all get behind and push forward to advocate for our government to actually represent a shift in our consciousness. And so I think that people are afraid of the overall, the repression that occurs when individuals who come out and say that they are, trying to be God or something, trying to come up with some kind of egotistical mindset that just tries to just dominate everything and act like, okay, this individual is going to represent us now, and so we're all going to be ashamed, and we're all going to feel like, oh, well, but that's not what people who have to realize. And I have to remind myself when people say this, because I'm a young man, and a lot of these people are educated, they're professors, they're people I would think would not say these things at all. And I'm thinking, I don't have any degrees. I'm just working out here. I'm trying to just get educated myself, and just by reading and everything. And I hear really educated people say these things, and the only thing I can think to resist that fear is to say, there's a lot that we have to address within ourselves, especially to call on Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, vanilla, let's call the whole thing off, and so I come from the so-called vanilla side, or the as some would say, a mutation of a mutation over here. And so there's a lot that white people have to deal with whenever, and I'm just speaking from the few white folks I've talked to. I would never think that they would say that and be like, oh, well, I got to go with this guy because we can't have Trump again. And thinking, we have to have a backbone and realize this is not just some little game. Like, if you're not going to cooperate with evil, you have to cooperate with the forces of good. And so we have to be willing to put our jobs on the line. Like, my job is at a university. My retirement is through a company called a shareholding company called Vanguard. And if anyone knows anything about Vanguard or BlackRock, you would know, say no more. And so, calling on, Blastmaster KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everybody. He says, don't fall for it. The Republicans and the Democrats are the same.
Exactly.
Every 4 years, the same people are asking us to vote. And so we gotta,
and never have a reason. Just because, okay, that makes sense. I'm trying to answer out Anna's question, because I'm going to go to some comments a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Mac in the house. Hello, Mac. Mac says, hey, I saw a small protest rally and march here today in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. That was a Poor People's March. For the Free Palestine movement. So that was not the Poor People's March. Um, then a new person, I am God, I am. Hello, welcome, and subscribe. The system has failed Donald Trump is a bona fide criminal. He should not be free nor eligible to run for the country. That's what I agree with. But the DOJ drug their feet. But hey, whatever. And he tried to overthrow. Do not turn Dr. West into a. I wish I could screenshot that. That's exactly what's happening. The DOJ took 2 years to decide, oh, we better investigate. Meanwhile, you're blaming me when we should should have done that. I'm trying to answer Anna's question, so let me just write this in here. Let me see. I'm sorry, Anna. I'm gonna get to you here in just a moment. This new phone, because I want to answer your question about a question that you asked about Washington State. Okay. Okay. So the next one comes from Anna, and she says Cornel West is not on the ballot for Washington State. Anna, the deadline to be on the ballot is May 21st. So Dr. West has until May 21st, I believe, to be on the ballot. And I'm looking at the Washington State's website for that. So he's still got time. What this country really needs isn't more politics, it's more constitutional amendments. Oh, these comments are coming in. Thank you, everybody. We should make it easier to get on the ballot. Amen to that. Dr. West is launching the Justice for All Party in Washington to help his efforts, and a volunteer team is working hard to get him on the ballot, too. Yes, same in Indiana. Okay, so the next lie, the next most irresponsible, why they just sitting here lying with their whole mouth like this, is the one. No, this is not my least favorite one, but it's one that irritates me. Now is not the time for Dr. West to run for president.
It's got a little bit of a sting to it. Yeah, I gotta call on Nina Simone on this one. Mississippi G-D, fill in the blank. They keep on saying go slow. And I just think that there is it's just a lack of respect when someone has that. It just is not coming from a place of understanding. And understanding isn't always something that means something warm, so that might not be the correct word. But yeah, what are your thoughts about it, Tracy?
Here's what I think. When did these people become Dr. West's parents? Like, he's got to get your permission to run. Like, he's got to sign, like, take a permission slip, have you sign it, and then say, well, okay, I can run now because John Smith said I could. Who is you? I don't mean to use improper English, but I would want to say, who are you? But no, I'm not going to do that. Who are you to tell somebody else when they can run for and then, like I said, the very first thing comes out of her mouth, I have respect for Dr. West, but now is not the time. Who created this? Two problems with that argument. One, they always move the goalposts. I've been hearing this now is not the time argument since I became a registered voter in 2000. Let's see, 1992. Yeah, I'm telling my age now. 1992 was when I first cast in mine. I've been hearing this argument ever since then. It was against Ralph Nader. It was against Jill Stein. It was even against Bernie Sanders in some respects.
Mm-hmm.
They moved the goalposts. What they really want to say is never is the time. There's never going to be a time for somebody like Dr. West to run in their mind because they'll always garner up some Republican to fear. They'll always use some Republican, whether it's Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell. It's always somebody they have to say to and I'll call Dr. West a socialist. I don't think he calls himself that, but I will in this sense of the word, to move somebody, to move that goalpost. It's never the time. And I'm like, you know what? We got to do this now. We have to do this now. The country does not want Donald Trump nor Joe Biden. Nobody wants to see these two run for president. We deserve better choices. We deserve better choices. Better.
Yeah, I think there's some parts of that argument that are heavily rooted, and to call on Ella Baker, the voice that says life is more sacred than property, should be heard. It must be heard, and it. Some people are just gonna be like, "Oh, I'm just comfortable and how whatever," and you just can't. How many times can a man look up before he sees the sky? How many years? The answer is blown in the wind, and hopefully the wind is gonna blow off that cap that Bob Marley talks about when he says, "Who the cap fit, let them wear it," because the winds of change are coming, and it's not going to wait for people to say, "Oh, okay, just wait a little bit longer." No, the time is now. The time has been now. People have been talking about this, and we must listen, and we must consider with a compassionate heart the implications of not taking action, and everyone might not have the same time or energy or what have you to contribute, but any little bit counts. We all can apply ourselves and use our instruments of our souls to contribute to the symphony of the universe's song, and the sounds of music is what connects to the creator. And so it's soon it will be done, the trouble of the world. Gotta call him Mahalia Jackson.
Yeah, now you can all tell Samuel is definitely a musician in that vein of Dr. West, how he uses the jazz thing. Uh, so just know that when he gives his answers. But I'm still like, y'all not his mother and father. He does not need. He didn't have to go. Now, can I please? Can I please? Can I please? What? That doesn't. Here's what I want you to say instead, people. The now's not the time, people. Just say you don't want Dr. West to run and be done with it. Just be 100% honest and just lie to me and tell me that a man that goes around Congress to get money to fund genocide, because that's what Biden has done, right? You want me to vote for that? It's not going to happen. I'd rather. I'd rather, no, I'm not going to say I'd rather not vote because I encourage voting. I don't encourage staying at home. That's not an option for me. Staying at home is never an option. Staying at home is never an option. Never, ever an option. Um, it's, and the two parties, if they work so well, like if Biden were doing something like trying, like calling for a ceasefire, um, no, I'm not going to say maybe because I have too many problems with Biden. So we're going to move on to our third. We're gonna. I do. I'm just like he has so many Joes. He started out as segregationist Joe. Then he's no. Let me backtrack. He was plagiarizing Joe first. Um, he was plagiarizing Joe first when he plagiarized those papers at the University of Delaware. Then he was segregationist Joe when he said that he didn't want his children going to school with black children. Then he was racist Joe. Then he was sexual assault Joe, allegedly. Now he's genocide Joe. How many times is your name gonna change, dude? Like you just morph into these. Oh, we're gonna get to the third one. I promise y'all. I promise y'all. I'm trying to keep control of my temper here because it's just like you can't be serious. Um, um, the third one. This one is gonna be interesting because I usually save this one for last. But I'm gonna put it third. Oh no, yeah, I'll do this one. Dr. West shouldn't be president because he first started out with the People's Party. He then moved to the Green Party. He then moved to Independent, and now he started the Justice for All Party. Why should I vote for someone that can't make up their minds?
That sounds like it's so at the end it says, why vote for someone who can't make up their mind? So obviously this is another one rooted in just an overall there's doesn't seem like there's much acknowledgement to how difficult the process is made for people to run outside of the two main parties that people are invested in, the Democrats and Republicans. And there was reasons for the jumping and skipping and hopping. You know, you got to move out here. You know, you've got to move. You got to move on up. You got to call on the swan and the silver tones. You know, I'm going to move on up in glory after a while. So it's just, you can't. I heard something like that, and I saw something where individual was, he put it together, he made the video, and I was just putting myself in through a different lens. I was trying to be understanding and view this for what it's worth, and it seemed very convincing if I put myself in someone else's shoes and viewed it. But I know the reasons vaguely behind why there was so much shifting, and there was conflicts in values, and in a lot of places you have to change what your what the right word is, your identification, like for your party, to have a better chance of getting on the ballot. And the amount of grueling steps it takes to just get your voice heard, to be able to be a part of this process, to reimagine this government, to reimagine democracy, is just there's just so many barriers. And someone to say, oh, well, he's not making up his mind. Oh, well, if you listen to the man speak, you will know his mind is made up, and he shall not be moved. Like a tree rooted by the water, he shall not be moved.
See, again, the best answers are always better than mine because apparently I have a mouth problem because I just say first thing comes off my
No,
mind.
that's just your strength. Hey, there always is
um,
a little bit of honey in there because it's sometimes easier to catch
no,
flies with the
no,
honey.
no, no. I'll explain what I mean. So here's my problem with the he can't make up his mind. Do people, like you said, no, but do they not recognize how hard it is for an independent candidate to get on the ballot as president of the United States? Do you know what a Herculean, I think that's the term, you know how difficult, yeah, I'll use the word difficult, how difficult it is to go out in these streets. And I went today. I went today to gather signatures. And I'm telling you all, this was done on purpose. The system was set up by Democrats and Republicans to keep independents off the ballot because they scared. If they weren't scared, they wouldn't make up these insane rules. It would just be you file your papers to the FEC, you're on the ballot, there you go. Nope. Some states you got to get 125,000. Like New York is 145,000. Um, Indiana. Oh, and Samuel comes to our meetings on Mondays because the Hoosiers for Cornel West group meets every Monday to get Dr. West on the ballot. I forgot to mention that Sam's in that group, but you have this the and I'm gonna call them what they are, the moving forward white people's party, because that's what they are. They don't support reparations, so therefore, um, they can they can they can go bye until they change their stance on reparations and other black forward policies. They are not on the ballot in any state. Zero. They have no infrastructure. They have no policy. They have no foundation in place to get Dr. West on the ballot in any state. Green Party, he left because essentially what the Green Party was demanding was not what Dr. West wants. Dr. West wants to get out there and talk to people. He wants to engage the public. That's what he does. And he formed the Justice for All Party because in some states, when you form a new party, not Indiana, because Indiana is just a trip. But yeah, we're going to talk about Indiana here in a moment. But when you form a new party, the amount of signatures you have to get, it comes down. So in other words, it's a lot easier in about 13 states to say he's under the Justice for All Party and he can automatically get on the ballot that way. So those are the reasons. We've explained it before, but people will still say, okay, so apparently we keep getting comments. Thank you all for the comments. We want to thank you. I haven't seen this many comments in a while. But share this video. I can't ask you to share this video. Let's see. Okay, so I'll start with this one from I Am God I Am. Now is the only time if the heart and the soul of America matters. When is the time? They say never. But the two-party dominance was never part of the envisioning of the republic. The people must take power back. I agree. They always say it because we said, Tracy, that the Dems are a private club, which they are. We are not members. The Dems do not look to the people. They never have. They look to the donors. Stop looking to them to save us. Look at the policies. I agree with that. Oh, someone new. Okay, I'm not going to get this right. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Poravera? No, I'm not going to get this right. I'm just going to disrespect. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just can't pronounce it. They should play Heard 'Em by Kanye West at his opening when he speaks. That's a legal thing. You got to get permission to do that. And the campaign doesn't have that kind of money lying around. Shout out to Miss Tracy. Hello, Samuel. I look forward to being on your show soon. I think it's March 13th. In addition to the Congressional Black Caucus, I believe the current Dr. West is a reflection of the old and new CBC. We'll explain later. Please do. It is not changing his mind. It's navigating the actual systems that are available. And thank you. I want to take that is so true, Anna. See why you see this, but apparently I say it and nobody gets it. I'm like, yes, you have to use the systems that are available to you. Why these comments are here? Okay. I'd rather have someone be able to change his mind than stubbornly stick to a sinking ship. Amen to that. This is checking in. In Florida, we went from needing 400. Yeah, see, this is why you need a justice for all party. They went from needing 145,000 to zero. Do you know how much? Let me talk. I did not mean to take this pivot. Can I pivot a little bit here and start talking? Let me tell you something. It's hard to go out in these streets and collect signatures. It is a hard job that nobody appreciates. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. In Indiana, we need, I'm just going to say 40,000 signatures. I have 8. I literally have 8 signatures. Now obviously people are getting more signatures than that, but if we take 8 and subtract it from 40,000, you know what number you get. People don't want to sign signatures. They want to offer up crazy arguments. They want to say, well, I support, but it's too much, and da 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 da. Democrats, though, the Democrats in Indiana, the Republicans in Indiana, they need 4,500 and 11 congressional districts. Do you know how much easier it would be to get 4,500 signatures, and that's all we had to get? We could just go to, say, these 11 congressional districts, divide that number, oh my gosh. It's a system that's made hard. It is difficult. Not impossible, but it is difficult. And the system is made difficult by the same 2 sides of one coin. The Republicans are one side and the Democrats are the other side. For all you people that don't think that they're like they really are. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. So we're going to move on to the next lie. And this one is actually one I've never added. So this is way back in the campaign. Way back. Dr. West's campaign accepted a $3,300 no, I'm not going to ask that question because I still think he should have taken. No, because I still think he should have took that money and told people where to bleep out. I'm like, no, it takes money to run a campaign. They're not free. If some white supremacist wants to give me a black person, okay, you know I'm against you, right? You don't. So I'm not gonna walk down that aisle. I'm gonna stay with my 5. I'm gonna just be good. I'm gonna be good because I'm not in the meetings. I never am. But the next one is so rooted in racism. It's so rooted in ignorance that I can't even believe that people even say this as a reason to not vote for Dr. West. Like, if you're going to come up with a reason for to vote against Dr. West, come up with something better than this one. Dr. West cannot be president because he didn't pay his child support.
Wow. That's that doesn't even sound like
it doesn't, but people still
argument. I'm sorry. Yeah, that just that's rooted in so many things that have been forced upon everybody from the media, from depending on where you grow up. I mean, I grew up in Indiana my whole life. I've been around a lot of vanilla folk. And I myself am a little bit on the bleach side. But I know where I come from. And I come from the melanated mother of creation. And I know about it. And so I know that everyone has different views and stuff. But, so Yeah, that's got some claws on it there. Yeah, there's a lot of assumptions about people and a lot of stereotypes about fathers in general, just regardless of race, when it comes to how fathers show up. And a lot of people think, oh well, dad's not around because he doesn't care. But there's a lot of fathers that have to fight to be able to be around their children. And a lot of the data that's been collected about African American fathers not being as present or something, or in the family system, the data is not really rooted in fact, because it's taken from I forget, it's based on babies out of wedlock or something, and so you don't have to be married in order to take care of your child. It just that doesn't mean because you never were married to the woman that you created life with, that doesn't mean that you're not around and not supporting and not in that child's life and
Right.
loving your child.
I want to take this. Yeah, I want
I'm
to take
sorry.
this question. No, I want to take this one. I normally let the guest answer, but I got to take this one. So, Theus, the reason that it's racist to me is it's another black men don't take care of their responsibility trope. When I know good and well there are studies that prove that fathers, especially black fathers, are involved in the lives of their children. Yes, it's ignorant. Yes, it's dumb. But yes, it's racist to me. It may not be to you, but it's definitely racist to me. And I get so tired of when a black politician runs. Like, we got all these new standards that we would never put on a white politician. I never heard anybody say, well, Mitch McConnell, he didn't take care of his two daughters from his previous marriage. Nobody ever said that. But he's not married to their mother. And it's these unrealistic, it plays on a racial stereotype.
Yeah.
That just, it's like, are you serious? See, I was going to say this.
It's kind of cheap. It's just kind of a hit below the belt too. It's just kind of like, really,
It is.
what is that? Is that even rooted in actual reality? Come on, like that just, I don't know.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't care if he has 29 children with 29 different women. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He could have 16 wives, 45 children. I don't care. He's still better than Joe Biden and Donald Trump. He's still better than Donald Trump and Biden. Period. I don't care. Dr. West should have. Yep, he sure should have. But we're not gonna talk about that. I'm trying to get to these comments because they keep coming in. Yes, it does. That's my whole point. It plays into a racial stereotype, and I'm like, how come nobody has ever said this about? I've never heard anybody say, "Hey, Biden, you're a terrible father." Because of whatever reason. Or Trump, you're a terrible father because of some other reason. I'm going to take the fifth on that one. I'm sorry, everybody. I have a bad cough. So we talked about that one. Talked about now's not the time. Oh, the taxes. The taxes. Dr. West can't be president because he owes taxes.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you, when I said father the dumbest, did I not keep my word that these are dumb?
Sorry.
They are dumb. I agree with you. These are some of the dumbest ones. I'm like, okay, if you're not going to vote for the man, well, okay, maybe. But you coming up with some. I told you I don't. I try not to lie to people. Try not to lie to people. Like these are the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yeah. He openly admits he's broke the Ten
The
Commandments.
commandments. Yep.
I mean, he says it all the time. He's not trying to lie out here. It's not like he's trying to say, "Oh, I'm the," it just it, and I can see. Okay, if we put ourselves in if we see from a different lens, we come up with a little bit of forgiveness for those who might be judgmental based on their own assumptions about people when it comes to how, people, calling Sun House, don't mind people grinning in your face because everyone's going to talk about you. It doesn't matter how you live, they're going to talk about you still. And so, it's okay. So if we put ourselves in someone else's shoes, all right, they're going to look at Dr. Cornel West. Okay, he's a really successful man. He's been in movies. He's written books. He's been able
Nominated
to.
for Grammys.
Right. There's a lot of success here. Okay, and so I can see how people would assume that, oh well, he should just be financially whatever, and I don't know. My grandfather, I never met him. I came around a bit later in life, but he when he passed away, he had $2 in his bank account, and my father, till this day, will say that there is not a better human that he's ever met in his life. And so, regardless of whether there's taxes due, I know that's just kind of like, that's just a real answer to me. I don't have a bunch of fancy words or any kind of huge vocabulary to combat some of this
Oh,
noise. But
yeah.
I respect it because I dig the jazz. In jazz, there's those blue notes that Dr. West talks about a lot. There's dissonance, and you have to honor the dissonance. You got to get into those chords that you don't really quite understand and listen deeply inside of yourself and look for what you can resonate with. And so, yeah, it's just sounds like a lot of noise to me.
When I told you that I compiled some of the stupidest, weirdest, dumbest criticisms of Dr. West, did I not lie? Did I not say these are the dumbest? I mean, there's things that, there's always legitimate criticism because nobody's perfect. Dr. West has said, hey, I'm a fallible person. I have faults. I have all of these things. But these, I'm like, yeah. And it's only going to get worse. They're going to come up with more things. And we as West supporters, we need to be prepared for that. But something I have not advertised is the website. So all the people who say, well, Dr. West doesn't have any really true policies, go to his website, CornelWest2024.com, and read his pillars. His pillars got so much better when he left the Green Party. And I'll say it, I don't really care. They can kick me out, do whatever they want to. He has things such as eliminating homelessness, not reducing homelessness, not setting up a commission to study homelessness, eliminating it, eliminating poverty, a $27 hour minimum wage, environmental racism. You show me any platform that's discussing environmental racism, because I have not seen it. It definitely exists, but I haven't seen it. So all his policies are there. If you want to volunteer, because again, I'm pretty sure the campaign won't get mad at me. They haven't said anything to me lately. Donate to the campaign. We don't have publicly financed elections yet. We should. But until we get there, this campaign needs all the donations they can get. $2 to $5 would be greatly appreciated. Don't go into debt trying to get to any campaign. I don't say that, but If you could spare $2 to $5, that would be fantastic. Share this video. Share it, share it, share it, share it, because that's how we can get the word out about Dr. West's campaign. So I'm going to get away from the stupidity of the criticisms and get to the stupidity of Indiana. Ha 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 ha! What a transition. Indiana is a uniquely stupid state. Yes, I said it. I said it again. Our legislature has set up laws in terms of gathering petitions that are some of the hardest laws in the United States. I thought California's was difficult with 245,000, but I forgot, the state has 32 million people, so that's just 1% of 1% of 1%. Because they went from 50,000 to 145,000. But Indiana's a special kind of, we're going to make this real hard for you. Now, I know you haven't been as much petitioning as I have, and hopefully, you'll be able to join us. But what have you found as you've been talking to people about possibly signing petitions?
They usually, I have really short hair right now, but I used to have really long hair, and I thought once I, shaved a few bucks and a few pounds off of my noggin that maybe people wouldn't look at me and go, "Oh, there's the fella with the long hair, and he's gonna tell me about something that's kind of whack or whatever." But I still get the kind of look like a lot of people surprisingly don't even know, and I think that is kind of a concern that we need to kind of keep the ball rolling on, letting the voice be heard, because it's not just a singular person, it's a moment and a movement. And so a lot of people I've talked to have been people of, or not maybe of Dr. Cornel West's generation, but just like maybe a little bit younger, and they'll kind of give me this look like, "You're this young guy talking to me about this individual, and he's running for president." And then they're like, "No, I don't want to." And I try to make it clear to them that this isn't you saying you're going to vote for Dr. Cornel West. This is just giving the opportunity for this individual to be on the ballot.
Oh, you got a nice response. I had one guy tell me he was against third parties. I'm like,
well,
okay.
Yeah. I kind of, yeah. Being from Indiana and growing up in small towns, you can smell a pig from a mile away. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call on Kid Rock, and I know people probably blast me for mentioning Kid Rock, but I mean, come on, it's just oh man, it's just yeah, it's yeah, it's tough out there, because I was hoping that since I work in a university and I'm talking to professors, I bump shoulders with people who've written books and that I think they're open-minded and things like that. And I'm not saying that they're not now because of their response, but there's just so much fear in the world, and it takes a hold of people, and it takes away from the imagination, and the imagination has to do with the soul, and it just change is gonna come. Kind of call on Sam Cooke, but
Okay, we
change is
got
gonna
some.
come.
Yeah, not to interrupt, but I'm sorry to interrupt you. But we have,
No,
okay,
okay.
so I am God, I am. You said, love you, Tracy and Samuel. I have a meeting started, but we'll see you tomorrow in Indiana's training. So you're going to be at the training tomorrow from 2 to 3:45. Great. So that's great. So yeah, we're coming up with everything. We're just like, okay, if it's, as long as it's legal, doesn't harm anybody, we are doing everything we can, because I don't think, I've never ever gather signatures to get any candidate on any ballot at any time. Never. I've never thought about it. I never wanted to do it. And I'm just like, Dr. West must be on the ballot. Must be on the ballot. And that's not the end. Even him winning the presidency is not the end. The work doesn't end when he's president and I take that football and spike it. That's not the end. That's the beginning, right? And so, again, for those who want information, if you're wanting to learn more about Dr. West, go to cornelwest2024.com. Here is the website. Again, I'm going to go up to all these brilliant comments that came in. That is the website where you can volunteer. You can sign. You can learn about Dr. West's platform. You can donate. You can buy merchandise. I have some. I have some of the older ones, so I got to buy some new ones. But thank you, Samuel, for doing this. I appreciate it. I know when you volunteered, I'm like, is he going to be good? You fine? You were fine. You were fine. Okay. You did great.
Many blessings. Yeah, I'm not the academic fella. I'm just.
And you
just
think I am?
You're trying
the fact that you called me an academic is making me feel really good about myself because I'm like, no, no. So go to the website, everybody, and if Samuel, if you can stay on for 5 minutes after we got on, I got a question for you. But everybody else, remember to share this video. We have to get the word out about Dr. West running. Volunteer. We need volunteers in every state, from Alaska to Maine, from Maine to Florida, from Florida to California, even Hawaii. This is an all hands on deck situation. And we need every person who wants to volunteer to volunteer. Thank you, everybody, for. He's a musician, Anna. She wanted to know what you do for a living.
Oh, I work in the biology department at the university.
Oh, for a living. Not for a living.
What would you say?
No, I said for a living, but she wanted to know what did you do? Not what you do for a living. Like, what would you like to do for a living, I guess?
Oh, I would love to be a teacher someday, and help just keep the ball rolling with bringing the awareness to what really matters and just uplifting the youth. And it starts there. It starts from the grassroots. And I'm just getting started. I'm just now trying to just lift myself above the bar. Just the bar keeps getting higher and higher. The goalpost keeps moving. It's been moving, but I see that people are resilient, and I have to be resilient. And I have to keep my head up and not feel down. And I mean, except when you feel down and everything, but you can't wallow in it. You gotta keep going. But I appreciate that question.
Yep. And so again, everybody, cornelwest2024.com. Like this video, share this video. If you see it later, which most of you do, comment on these videos. If you comment on them, they'll pop up in the algorithm, and that will help get out the word more. Join me next week for another Congratulations 47th President, Dr. Cornel West. Don't know who I'm going to interview, but hopefully I'll have something by Tuesday. If not, you'll just see my face solo. It'll be fine. I can do it. And we'll take it from there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. The show will be back at its regular time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did it this time because Samuel had a conflict. And so to accommodate him, I put it at 7. But it looks like that may be a good time because this is the most comments I've ever gotten. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Like this video, share this video. Go to cornelwest2024.com. Have an excellent evening. Good night, and see you next week. Bye-bye.